What's up, Burgess?
What up, John?
How we doing?
Pretty good. Just another Tuesday.
Dude, I love these days, dude. Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's what I live for.
I know, me too. It's a pretty good day.
Yeah, man.
Until we add more days, I don't know how it could get better.
So here's something like interesting.
What?
But so do you like Omen, or have you ever owned an Omen? Are you familiar with Omen
Like
on
computer?
Cardano?
Oh
No, Omen on Cardano.
no.
So they've got some pretty interesting art. I'm trying to convince one of the founders to get on here, be with us sometime soon. He said basically knowing that he doesn't like to do this stuff, but maybe later. And I was like, this is the place. This is where we're having him. Excited.
Hell
But,
yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, man.
We are the late night, baby.
Yeah, we are that late night show where we sit down with founders and people that are entrepreneurs in Web3, and we just find out how they're doing and what they're doing here, you know?
Yeah, who they are, what they're working on.
Yeah,
what
man.
they think's cool.
So one of the first things we have to do, right? We have to say shout out to cryptochips.io. Thank you guys. Everybody that's here, thank you all for being here. But CryptoChips.io is our main channel sponsor, and we appreciate them so much.
Yes, sir.
We also need to give a shout out to, right? Because this episode and a few episodes, and maybe more than a few episodes, Whimsy Estates, right? Whimsy is a Web3 project that allows you to be able to purchase tokenized real estate, right? And then so they're one of the most regulated and going through all of the legal, proper, regulated channels to be able to provide people with access to tokenized real estate in exchange for crypto, which is pretty cool. I mean, if you want to pay cash or card, I'm sure that they accept all sorts.
It's a pretty cool project. Those RWA projects are going to be the future, and
Dude,
Whimsy's doing it right,
so
dude.
Bullish. They're so bullish.
They are.
I feel like, well, I mean, we need to talk about the rest of the things before I go on this side tangent about RWA on Algorand.
Yes, sir.
Anyways, so my name is John. I am at the John Carter on Twitter, or X, as you know, the newbies call it. I'm a part of the JPEG Empire team. I'm wearing a tie right now because the JPEG Empire team is going to be dropping the bosses mint, right, for the JPEG bosses, which we're super excited about. Find out about it in the Discord, so follow at JPEG Empire on X. And yeah, tell us about some stuff, Burgess. What you got going on?
I want to give a little shout out to our channel sponsor, Ascent Rivals. The Cardano Bash is coming. If you saw some of the shorts, I went and played in their playtest with their new build, and that game is actually so fun. They have mouse and keyboard controls now, and I gotta say, the shooting on mouse and keyboard and driving just together, it's so clean. If you want to check out, dude,
I have a mouse and a keyboard,
dude. It's so nice. It's an amazing game. If you're a part of the Cardano community, we're gonna be having some NFT communities coming out and participating in this tournament. I think there's gonna be 10 communities, and we're gonna be battling to death in this brand new game. And there's gonna be some sick ass prizes, so you need to check them out. And then we got MEXC up there.
Oh, dude, I forgot about MEXC.
You didn't even talk about MEXC.
Up in the corner, there's a QR code for MEXC. MEXC has some of the lowest trading fees in crypto exchanges, period. So I like MEXC. I trade on MEXC. Don't hold your money on a centralized exchange. So if you use MEXC and you have some money on there, make sure that it's an amount of money that you're okay with losing. Centralized exchanges are a risk. Self-custody is the most important. However, if you decide that you want to be a trader, you want to use some leverage, which I don't recommend, but sometimes it's fun. And you make an account on MEXC. If you use that QR code, I get like $5.
He does.
And if you give me $5 for opening a MEXC account,
He'll smile. He'll smile.
I will
You'll
smile.
make John smile.
Dude, if you want, I'll send you feet pics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
And then we got the last couple shout outs. I want to give a little shout out to my NFT community, the Goons Club. If you want a cool 3D file that you can mess with in Blender and other types of things, Unity, anything you can model 3D files with, you should check out the Goons Club. They're amazing. Amazing PFPs, amazing physical items. I really enjoy being part of that community. And then finally, give a shout out to Web3 Breakfast. Happy birthday to the J Chains. He turned 42 today. So shouts out to him. And then shouts out to Turbo and 74K. It's a little morning show that I listen to every single day, pretty much. And it gives me a big old smile. We talk about crypto and a bunch of funny ass shit usually. But it's actually pretty serious lately. There's a bunch of bookings, and we're actually talking like serious about crypto and learning a little bit more fun things. So if you're into that too, come check out that. I think it's about time to bring up our guest.
No, absolutely. So I'm real excited about this one, man. Everybody says it's all about the art and crypto, but they actually only care about the money. This is one of the ones that is actually about the art, man.
Yeah,
and we love it. We love it.
It's amazing art, actually. Like the detail is amazing. So,
all right.
Without further ado,
boom. Oh no, I am challenged. Sorry, guys.
What's up, dude? Carver?
Hey yo.
This is why we love live shows. Right?
What did I do?
No, I said this is why we love live shows, right? I messed that up, there for a second. But Carver, dude, excited to have you.
The thing when you mess it up, it makes it entertaining. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's what people look for, the authenticity.
Exactly.
That's right.
I'm like over here running over my cord. So you're not the only one messing up. Don't worry.
But Carver, that hat is amazing, dude. We love the shades. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. Just polished off a nice 12-hour shift at ye old hospital because still got a regular fiat mining job. So I had to go take care of some folks today. Come back home, prep for the interview or show, whatever you want to call this. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Having a good time so far. I just really digging this my lovely home here with the grand piano.
Oh, dude, background. It's fantastic. Do you play piano, or have you ever?
No, but I want to. I always wanted to learn how to play because I feel like I could get really hammered and go to like a piano bar and just like push the guy out of the way and just like hammer out some Billy Joel and just like the crowd would swoon and everybody.
It's gonna be a straight epic movie scene, dude.
Yeah, for real. Like I could, yeah, like I could probably do that. Like how hard
he usually smokes cigarettes, but on this occasion, there's a piano. He's got to, smoke a cigarette while he's playing.
Taking a nice drag. Yeah, just really just tickling them ivories.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
But no, I do not play. I am not musical, but I appreciate music. Music is so good, man. Love jamming out to some tunes and stuff. It's highly underappreciated these days because everything's so synthetic. But like the real ones that are out there, just like grinding away, doing the real thing. Got a lot of respect for these guys.
Hit us with some picks. What are some Carver picks, man? Like what? First of all, what is the first? I guess like CD.
Yeah,
that's a great question, John.
Right?
Yeah, John Cicada. Yeah, taking you all the way back to the early '90s, my man. John Cicada had some real bangers. First heard it when I was 12 years old, laying there in the dentist office, and I was serenaded by that sweet sound of the John Cicada voice and the Latin beats going on, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I can kind of chill to this, kind of groove to this, and forget about the fact that this man's scraping plaque off my teeth. Real good. So, John Cicada.
Man, I feel like awesome. I know it, but I want to like listen to it right now.
Yeah,
and
man.
I'm scared that if I play it, that YouTube's gonna hate that.
Yeah, no, it's got to be in right mind. You gotta be feeling kind of nostalgic. You got to be feeling like you're about to go turn on some Cool Runnings or something. You know, like you got to be in the right.
Cool
you gotta be in the
Runnings.
right mood.
I haven't seen that movie in so freaking long.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
an
man.
amazing movie.
Going to the way back.
Dude, speaking of random questions, we actually have 2 random questions that we always ask everyone that
Well, they're
comes on
not
the show.
random anymore.
They're not random
Unfortunately,
anymore.
we need like a rotation. We need
They're branded by us. The most
Yeah.
generic questions
I'm here for it.
at the worst cost.
Hit him.
Just kidding. So, since we're on the topic of movies, and John is a huge movie buff, and hopefully it's not Cool Runnings because that'd be boring because we were just talking about it. But what is your favorite movie?
Yeah, or genre. Like give us a taste of Connery.
Yeah, like or
Give us
series.
a picture.
Favorite movie of all time probably has to be Shawshank. Just so classic, like great story, of injustice and the guy like just dealing with insurmountable pain and suffering and like finally breaks free. But the biggest part about that is the fact that the movie ends, like spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, the movie ends with him on a beach with a boat. So that's like the greatest all time, like from an artistic, thematic, just cinematic standpoint, the Shawshank for sure. But in terms of like movies that I could just sit there and watch over and over and over again, it's got to be Master and Commander. Big time historical naval warfare fan. It sounds ridiculous, but big fan of the tall ships, big fan of Napoleonic Wars. Big fan of historical fiction.
You're one of those guys you'll get caught watching like a 4 or 5 hour documentary on for Saturday, sure. About ships,
right?
It's one ship, and then there's probably like 5 different episodes about a fleet of ships.
Yep. And I'm going to be the guy sitting there watching like these underwater like archaeology guys like trying to like salvage some stuff, and I'm going to be like, don't forget the cannon, gotta get the cannon, man, the cannon's right there. Like, don't lose your grip.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's awesome. So you like timepieces or like historical stuff. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's sick. So with that, right, comes the second question, which might be just as grueling. But you're an artist, right? And you do impeccable work. But what I need you to do right now is I need you to paint me with your words a very vivid graphic picture of what your favorite meal would be. So like if you could eat anywhere in the world, travel anywhere in the world to eat like the food, and you know what it is, like what temperature it's served to you, you know what I mean? Like what it's garnished with, and then hit me with like a dessert from anywhere as well. You can take a flight to both places.
Okay. All right. It's Saturday night and we are somewhere in South Florida, and the Latin beats are just popping, and we're feeling good. We got that energy, and we're at a nice little Cuban restaurant, and the server brings out some vieja ropa, and you might be thinking that's Spanish for old clothes, and you're right, it is, but it's also deliciously smoked roast beef, probably around 120 degrees Fahrenheit, with the fat just perfectly, melted into the meat itself. So it's so buttery smooth and good. And then there's grilled onions in there as well, with a side of rice and perhaps beans, with all the cilantro that you can shake a stick at. It's all the cilantro. It's a field of cilantro. We're drinking that with a Modelo Especial.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was honestly, I think that has to be the award-winning description, and that was absolutely beautiful. So I
want to let you know that's going to be a terrific short. That's going to be a terrific video.
It's going to be the best. It's going to go viral for sure.
It's good, man. It's good stuff.
I love that because I'm Venezuelan, and I was actually born in Miami.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, man. When you painted that picture and you said Ropa Vieja, I was like, oh, yeah.
You know where we're
This
going.
man knows what's good eats, you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, dude. My
And what
pops is born in Miami, so we used to go down there all the time. So
that's awesome. So what are you having for dessert though? You know what I mean?
ooh,
That's also a beautiful,
gonna go with probably some coconut ice cream.
Ooh, yum.
excellent choice.
That's
Yeah.
bomb.
Excellent choice. Yeah, man. And do you like it? Do you like it with shaving, like coconut shavings as well?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, in there?
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, geez. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, dude. We do it right.
That's fantastic. All right, so we know about you now, right? But tell us a little bit before crypto, before you were Carver the Medici, right?
Yep.
What was, what were you doing? Tell us about like your life, like kind of like where you came from, like where you grew up. You said you spent some time in Florida, some stuff like that.
Yep. So I'm actually born and raised, and people know this, so I don't feel like I'm like having a coming out doxing party on your show or anything. But no, I am born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina. Dad is from Miami. Mom is from Charleston, South Carolina. So we got some Southern heritage in our family there. So I grew up, pretty average life, I guess. Went to school, studied for business, and had a pretty decent job doing some like building supply. I worked for a building supply company where I basically was in charge of like coordinating materials and labor to get on a job site to build houses for tract home builders. Your DH Hortons, your KB Homes, things like that. And it was a good job, like for a 23-year-old. I had a gas card, a company truck. I was always going to like the sales outings with, the golfing events and, the dinners and the parties and everything. And it was fun. Like I was on salary. So like, it didn't really matter. Like it wasn't, there was no such thing as overtime, but there was a vibe. Like there was definitely like a company vibe. And it was like the best of times, dude. This was like mid to early 2000s. So, stuff was pretty good, pretty okay, and then like I had that job for like 2 years and then the housing market just shat the bed. So my job like went up in flames and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do right now. So my brother at the time had just got out the military and he was like, hey man, I'm using my GI Bill to go back to nursing school. I hear there's a lot of chicks there. We could party it up. I'm like, why not? I'll go be a nurse. Let's just go back to college and just like explore life for a little bit. So that's what we did. And it was phenomenal. It was hard. Like school was hard, like harder than business school, way harder than business school, but we had a good time. So I graduated with a nursing degree, and have pretty much been a nurse ever since. I like once I got into it, I'm like, I don't really, I miss the business world and everything. And I feel like it would be a lot of fun to get back into. But I've just been doing this nursing thing for like 12 years now. I'm like, it's what I'm good at this point. And I don't really think that I could go back. I have no idea what that world looks like anymore. So here I am, man, just a nurse hanging out, dabbling in crypto.
Where'd you first hear about crypto and how did you get into it?
Right. It sounds weird and idealistic, but I followed, I was kind of like, I couldn't really leave my business roots behind. So I was still doing some like personal investing with an individual brokerage account on, Fidelity. I was doing some stock trades and whatnot, doing some investing in some ETFs, some REITs, a bunch of different things.
Any GMT GameStop and
right. The stonks. Yeah.
stonks.
No, I didn't actually. I was never tempted to go that route because I could see that it was all like being manipulated by a bunch of jackasses on Reddit. So I was like, I'm gonna let them have their fun. But where so I definitely had like a little bit of capital to play with. I mean, I wasn't wealthy, I wasn't rich, but it was a decent amount of money. But then I heard so part of my financial investing world centered around this podcast I used to listen to. It was called like A Wealth of Common Sense, Animal Spirits, by these two guys that were roughly my age, that worked for a wealth management company out of New York, and they were just like down to earth guys, and they could like paint a really good picture of like the financial landscape that made sense to people like in my generational cohort. So like I really appreciated their insights. I got a lot of good like tips and ideas and things like that. And one of the guests that they had on their podcast was, his name is Packy McCormick. And he just writes this really, really incredible blog post called Not Boring. And I recall that one of the things that he was doing was he created a DAO, right? A decentralized autonomous organization or whatever, to basically come together and raise capital to bid on a live auction at I don't know what one of those like preeminent auction houses is. I can't remember which one exactly, but they were bidding on a copy of the Declaration of Independence. They
I saw that. I remember that reading about that.
Yeah, like they had raised like I don't know how many millions of dollars, but like what struck me the most was like the comments that people were making, like, hey, like this is crazy. I can't believe that, I'm an immigrant to this country and I believed in the ideals of America and freedom and all that. And I'm about to be like a member of an organization that literally owns a signed copy of the Declaration of Independence. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm about to start crying. You know what I mean? Like it was like one of those moments where I was just like, the power of crowdsourcing and decentralization and like people in general like coming together to achieve a goal that you don't need anybody's permission to accomplish. You don't need for someone to give you the green light. You just do it.
Hell yeah.
And like for me, that's when the light went off and I was like, crypto could be something. When you've got a bunch of nobodies coming together to bid on a piece of iconic world history, you're telling, like, I don't give a shit about the Moon Boys. I mean, yeah, it's cool that a couple of guys who bought some monkey pictures are, like millionaires now. And like, that was an accident. That was like, there's no, like, that doesn't mean nothing. I'm in it for that kind of like revolution where people who have never met each other before, who have no idea like where each other is coming from or anything like that, can somehow get in the same room together and create or have this common goal and achieve it. They lost the auction, but they came pretty damn close. You know what I mean? Like the fact that they were even in the running for that, I was like, I got to check this crypto thing out, man. So like part of my investing strategy up until that point was to like allocate 5% to Bitcoin because YOLO. And for me, I thought that was risky. Like I was like, oh my God, this is a risky fucking take. Like I can't believe that I'm allocating 5% of my entire portfolio to Bitcoin of all things. But as I studied it, as I learned more about it, I eventually came to Cardano and I was like, nah, this has more of that flavor to it. This has more of that decentralization to it. This has more of that community-led, decentralized, like grassroots organization that really resonates with who I am, I think, as a person and all the things that are fucking meaningful in life. Like this is like Cardano is it for me, man. You can't like, not that I'm necessarily like a one chain maxi or anything, but like you can't deny that the ideals that Cardano has like embraced in its foundation, like that, like that's kind of a special thing, and that's why I'm like very much like I just don't trust I just don't trust any other chain to share in those like original ideals that I came to crypto with.
Nice. I love that
beautiful.
story. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, man. but I'm also a little bit of a degen too, so so I'm all right. I'm all right with people like YOLOing on meme coins and whatever else. Like, hey man, have a day. Have a
Well,
day. Like go get
100%. You can't hate someone for trying to make money, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Like I
Exactly.
know that that was like a super serious response and everything, and I kind of come across as a little bit of a goofball, but like deep down there is like a significant like ideological
Yeah.
like alignment with me and Cardano, but at the same time, like anybody who's seen me in person, anybody who's gone to, well, I've only been to one freaking live event before, and that was Rare Evo last year. And anybody who saw me there knows that I'm definitely about having a good time as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the way you feel about crypto is the way a lot of people feel about crypto. Like generally everyone that's going to watch this feels that way, you know? Like we're
yeah,
all here because there's a lot bigger meaning behind it. Like I was trying to tell someone the other day, like they were trying to talk shit about crypto and stuff, and I was like, it's literally like the most American thing. I'm doing the most American thing. You're trying to be like all
hell
talk
yeah,
shit
brother.
about it, you know? We're doing the most American thing. We're trying to, you know, raise money
Self
together
sovereignty and
and
stick it to the
you know,
man.
change the landscape.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Like for me, and I think that's where it's finally like settled for me is just it's a place where I remember when my wife will kill me for saying this, but early on in our relationship, when we had got together, we said, well, we need to go get ourselves like a checking account, that we share. So we went to one of the local banks. Actually, it was a pretty big name bank, and we went there to go open up a joint checking account. And they were like, well, we need to run a credit check, and I'm like, for why? Like, first of all, I mean, that's not going to be a problem, but also like, why do you give a shit? Like, you're going to be like the custodian of my money. Like, why do you care? Like like anyway, long story short, like they actually denied us because I guess our credit score collectively wasn't good enough. And I'm like, so I could see, early on that the financial systems that we have to rely on because they have a monopoly on the entire space, like those financial systems are corrupt as fuck. And I just I cannot stand the fact that there are some people out there that make so much like egregious, obscene amounts of money because they're preying off of individuals that are just trying to fucking get by. Like
Mm-hmm.
that annoys me. And I want to see some like righteous revolution and just see those guys get completely upended and like turned into obsolete pieces of like history. They're like, oh yeah, these were the guys that were the catalyst that initiated the crypto revolution, and now they're just a page in history. You know what I mean? That's what I want.
100%.
100%. I kind of feel like that with everything the way that things have been going on, like we have been due a revolution, like way overdue a revolution. And there were
Yeah.
like several points in history where there was like a boiling point where something like terrible almost happened, right? And that where we almost got that revolution that was like needed, sort of kind of like by the, I don't know, needed by the country. And then it didn't happen. And then so I felt like when I heard about crypto, when I learned more about it, that this was the like quiet revolution. This was
Yeah,
like the like suddenly, like, or I guess like slowly and then suddenly sort of revolution. So like nobody would expect it. Kind of like the internet,
yeah,
in general. Is like everybody, there's that clip that's viral where the guy's talking crap about like, who would use the internet and for
yeah.
what? Like what are you gonna send an email for? Like what is that even,
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden we can't imagine our life any other way. And
Right.
so I see that being what the outcome is of this whole revolution, being able to own your information digitally, people being able to come together for like specific purposes without necessarily needing unlimited resources in order to achieve something. The ability, of owning things that we care about together. I
Yeah,
think
I'd explain Web3 to someone the other day because I said it just randomly, and he just looked at me and was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Do you know the difference between Web2 and Web3?" And he was just like, what are you talking about? I'm like, like with the internet, like Web 2, Web 3, like with crypto, like that's what it is. And he was just like, what? I was like, well, he's like, what's it mean? I was like, okay, Web 2, read and write. Well, with Web 3, you get to own it. You get to read, write, and own, And he was just like, what?
So I had my sister help me with she works with like an HR company, and she's real good at like resumes and stuff. And so I had her help me like dress up my resume. And so I was basically like dictating to her like what I wanted to say, and she was just like jotting down notes and everything. And so like when I told her like all the things that I had to say about like my work experience with starting my online company Apes on Canvas, she like sent me the printed out version or whatever, and I'm like reading it. And when I was like saying terms that are just so like commonplace to us, like Web 2, Web 3, like she was literally writing like Web 2, like TOO, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, we are so early still. Like it doesn't feel like we've been in this place for like years, and it feels like centuries, and there's still people out there that just have like my sister's smart, right? But she just it's a world, it's terminology that she's just so unfamiliar with, and I feel like it's just an interesting place that we can sit here and like talk all day about things and use terms like wag me and whatever else, and people are like, the fuck did you just say to me?
Yeah,
it's pretty entertaining.
That's so funny. I mean, like, that's so true. Like, we really do honestly, like, there was a clip from a conversation that I had with somebody the other day, and I was showing this older lady, and she was like, oh, that's cool, but like as soon as you started talking about all those crypto stuff, like, over my head. And it was a 60-second clip, you know what I mean? And then she was like, yeah, makes sense now, over my head. And I feel like a lot of the people, we are super early. But one of the questions I want to ask you is, so we know you as Ape Society, right? As part of Ape Society.
Yep.
And I can't say that I personally know a whole lot about Ape Society. I'm not an ape, right? I don't have one. So if anybody wants to send me an ape, my wallet is $ Lou Creativity. And so feel free, send me an ape. But there's a lot of like lore. There's different families in that, and then there's like royals, right? As well as like different houses. Can you tell me a little bit about that to explain a little bit about Ape Society to somebody who doesn't know?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. It started out, I guess, initially as a way to differentiate how people identify NFTs instead of just calling them by their asset number. The team behind the Ape Society was pretty revolutionary by individually naming every single one, classifying them into 35 different families, 7,000 total apes spread across 35 different families with different tier structures to those families. You've got 7 different classes: craftsmen on the bottom, artists, explorers, merchants, military officers, and royal advisors, and then the top of the pyramid, nobles. And the nobles are only made up of the Medici family. And that is a reference to the actual Medicis, which were some of the original bankers back in Florence, Italy. So they incorporate a lot of historically accurate names, and they utilize like names from Italy, France, England, I think, and then they also use like common names too, like I think like Bob. Like Bob.
I was waiting for you to say John. I
Yeah.
was gonna hop out of my chair at you, but
No. No. Well, maybe John.
I was gonna
too.
say quick comment. Like, I'm pretty sure that the Medici family also was one of the first in banking and accounting that actually used a distributed ledger. like
Yeah.
in order to actually make sure that all the accounts across multiple different like bookies or different locations basically were balanced, right?
Yeah, I wish I knew more about the actual history of it, and I'm going to look like an absolute.
No, you're good, you're good. I just that's my little tidbit of history, you
Yeah,
know.
there you go. There you go.
I
So
know
I
that.
mean, just more to the point, like why crypto is so good for this kind of reference. So it started out as that, and it turned into what we like to identify as like the country club of NFTs, where we wanted to create like a come together, feel good, genteel, estate like place where you felt like if you just got done golfing 18 holes, you could come back to the clubhouse and just kind of chill for a second and just grab that drink and smoke that cigar, kick the shoes off for a little while and just network with people and just hang out. It was supposed to be a relaxed environment where people of like-minded ambition and luxury and exclusivity were able to come together and just discuss whatever. Like it was a networking opportunity. It was a way to push the NFT space forward, with a different way to like just a cool different like nomenclature system. But then it also incorporated some other like revolutionary things too, like NFT staking and doing that like across the entire NFT space, not just with their own NFTs, but like you could also incorporate NFTs from any other approved list, which basically includes everything except for like known rugs. You could like utilize your own NFT from a whole separate other project and incorporate that into the Ape Society ecosystem and still be able to earn some of their ecosystem coin, the society coin, as part of that. So there was a lot of like really interesting and cool things that they were doing in the beginning, and then it's kind of blossomed into more of like a DeFi like powerhouse where they've got a really really amazing like short-term lending platform in Levy that just has like some really really incredible just opportunities for people to use their NFTs as collateral, as well as their tokens, their Cardano native tokens as collateral as well. So there's opportunities for instant liquidity. There's opportunities for really good yield, and that's like our biggest, most impressive like landmark, because we're supposed to have like all these landmarks. We got 11 pre-dedicated spaces for these giant standalone companies that could exist on their own merit, but we've incorporated them. Well, I say we, like I'm part of the team.
I mean, you're a part of it, right? You're
Yeah.
part of the Ape Society. So I mean, it's the whole group. It's the collective that is helping to manifest these things.
Yeah. So it was like the whole point of the Ape Society, I think, is a way to create really incredible tools for a true decentralized finance system that anybody can access and participate in, that allows people that may or may not have access to similar dApps or resources to participate in a way that they may not have had access to like ever before. So again, like it holds true to my personal ethos of like decentralizing everything and giving power back to the people. And that's for me that is like, if you're not about that, then I probably am not that interested in your project. You know what I mean? Like I want to make sure that, again, like we are like kind of like a little freedom fight, justice revolution, man. Like let's go. Like send the banks to zero, man.
Yeah. Well, I think it was First Republic, or one of those in the US, like finally like had to get taken over because it like collapsed again. Or something like that. So we're getting closer, and the amount of unrealized losses from the interest rate hikes across the banking system in the US, once you start like normies they're not ready. They're not ready.
Happen anytime.
Yeah. We're taking time bomb, and I've got all my money in illiquid JPEGs and magic internet money. So like, you know what I mean? I'm good. I mean,
you're fine. Yeah, you'll be all right.
I'm gonna go to somebody. I'm gonna say, "Here's my ledger. Bring your ledger. We'll trade this picture of an animal for some meat."
For that cherry donut. Like
Yeah.
that's what I want. I want my Starbucks and my cherry donut, and
Yeah.
here's a couple of NFTs. That's what you get. Like that's what your coffee is worth to me, is this NFT. And if you don't like it, then you're just gonna have a pot of cold coffee at the end of the day, because nobody's buying your shit, because all we got is fucking NFTs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You better figure out something to sell, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, all of that was great. Like, that's a lot more than I knew about Ape Society. Like, I knew some things, right? But I really want, right? So, I believe it's Zombri. So, Zombri, if you're out there, I would love to sit down with, some of the Ape Society people and find out, their insights on everything going on over there. I was going to ask you as well, like, so you've become Carver the Medici, right? And you're super prominent, as far as I'm concerned, in the community and just like in crypto and Cardano, because of your artwork. Like, your work is amazing. I've seen the little teasers for Lil Thunder, right?
Yeah.
And for what we've got going on over there. So, like, how did you become that? Like, how did you evolve into that? Have you always been an artist? Have you been doing art for a long time? Or was like this something that came up after you'd been in Ape Society for a minute and you're like, I have to do something here to provide value, and these are the things that I'm good at? Like, where did that evolution come from?
No. Great question. And it honestly gives me an opportunity to set the record straight, more or less. Like, I don't want you to immediately kick me off your show right now, but I'm about to tell you something like that needs to be said.
You tell me the truth, you're out.
I'm like, here it comes. If
it's not good, you're kicked.
Whatever.
I am not the artist, but I am the vision curator. That is the term that I am adopting. So I guess essentially, there's Zombri. Zom, tell him in a second how one night I drunkenly gave you an ape, and with the way tonight's going,
hey, I told you my wallet.
with the way tonight's going, John might get one himself anyway. So
let's go. Wait, is that bank bourbon?
Yeah, that's bank bourbon right there.
Oh shit!
Hell yeah!
My camera's going in and out, but that's bank.
Yeah,
bourbon.
We love it.
We love that.
That's big.
That's what I've been sipping on tonight. I hope that's all right. I hope it's okay
So
to drink.
can we get a no? Of course, we've had hops on Cardano before, so we had beers on that show. So feel free to drink as much as you want. I usually take a big old bong rip before every single show, so don't worry about it.
Awesome. We're on the same page. We're on the same page then. But let me get back to telling you about why I'm not the artist, because I do have an artist on staff who is the painter. Okay, so that's a common misconception, and I try to be very upfront with that and very honest about that. I am not the artist. The artist has chosen to remain nameless, and they will not make their identity known, and that is it just adds a little bit of mystique and a little bit of allure to the project. But, yeah, right, like Satoshi action for sure. But how it all started was the fact that, the Ape Society, when they first launched, had a very specific and unique art style, which was very classic, brush stroke, oil on canvas. And it had a very Renaissance style feel to it. And I think for me, being a fan of history, being a fan of that type of art style, let's face it, a lot of the NFTs, at least on Cardano up to that point, had been very cartoonish in nature, which is fine. I love that art style as well, but it didn't resonate with me the way that this particular art style did. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to mint this. I'm definitely going to try and buy this off secondary. I'm definitely going all in on freaking Ape Society because I love that kind of art style. And I liked it so much, people and other people did too. And they started commissioning prints for their apes, and I would see people show them off in Discord chat, and they would have these really immaculate, like attention to detail, like high res prints that are just like printed out on different media, whether it's an actual canvas or someone did it on like a sheet of aluminum, which came out really well. There's just people were doing some really crazy, like artistic looking things with their apes, which again, like one of the cool things that the founders of Ape Society did was give us full intellectual property rights over our specific apes. Like if you own an ape, then that now becomes yours, and you can do whatever you want to with it. Commercial rights, everything. Like you can do whatever you want, within reason. And they also had this stipulation where it's like, if you anticipate grossing over like $500,000 with whatever business venture you're doing with your ape, let us know. And not so that they could like get royalties off it, but so that they could like help you scale. Which I thought was really cool. Like the fact that they were anticipating that something like that could potentially happen. I was immediately like, okay, these are my people. Like we're talking about big time entrepreneurs. Like we could actually make this happen. And you've seen it on Ethereum with Bored Apes, guys making all kind of stuff with their apes. It's like, well, why not us? Why can't we do that too? And so they were anticipating that people could potentially do that with the IP that they had created. So I thought that was a really, really nice touch. So I saw all these things. I saw all these examples of people like creating prints and stuff. And I said to myself, I was like, all right, that looks awesome, but I want something more. I need something a little more authentic. So I started asking around. I started, looking up different artists in my area. My wife is friends with a couple of art people. So I contacted them at first and asked them, hey, like, are you guys well versed with oil on canvas? And I specifically wanted oil on canvas for that very old school, very authentic look. And like so many people weren't doing it. They were like, well, we do acrylics. And I'm like, okay, but I want oil. I want oil. I want like the nastiest shit you can get. I want that on canvas.
My mom's an artist, and she specifically hates oil.
Yeah,
because it requires a lot of patience. That's why everybody goes to acrylics. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Because oil painting is like, it's definitely an art, but it takes time and patience.
Yes, absolutely. That is 100% why I was drawn to it in the first place. I wanted it to be unnecessarily slow. I wanted it to be unnecessarily painstaking. I wanted it to be something that was so like monumental that when it was finished, like you were going to look at it and just not stop looking at it. I wanted it to be like, I wanted you to smell it. You can't smell acrylics like you can smell oil. Like oil has a very distinct smell. Like I want this to be a very sensory thing. I'm so like, I'm a little older than a lot of the younger guys that are coming up in this, internet age. And it's like, I remember what it was like to be outside, like I remember what it was like to, mow the lawn and smell that fresh cut grass. Like I remember things like that. And so like, I wanted something that was much more sensory. I wanted something that was going to like cause you to like have a reaction because you experienced it. I wanted it to be, I wanted it to have texture. I wanted it to be very tactile. I wanted you to be able to experience it with, all of your senses instead of just looking at a blank screen thinking, hey, I need some like different colored glasses because I'm starting to get a migraine because, I don't have like the blue filter on my shades or whatever. Like, I want something that's going to cause people to have like a reaction. And so when I said to myself, okay, I need to find someone who can do this as an oil on canvas specific painting. It took me a while to find someone who was even willing to try. And so I commissioned this one artist, and I will dox this much about her. She is a girl. And I said,
like
okay,
that? Cardano girls.
Right, exactly. So I was like, can you do this? And she was a little hesitant at first. She normally does like portraits and stuff. She was like, yeah, I guess. So we went through multiple iterations. Like the early work that she did was not up to what I consider like quality that it should be. So we went through like multiple trial and errors, and we finally got one that looked good. And I said, wow, that is it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I can't believe how similar it looks to the actual ones that are on my computer screen. But these are so much better because I can see where your hand was, where that brush was on that canvas. I can see that that was an actual action that someone took to put, medium to canvas. And it was a really like phenomenal, groundbreaking moment for me. And so I decided, you know what? I want to take this a step further. I want to put this in a Baroque style frame, which is like that classic, what you see in museum type frames. I want to use like a Baroque style frame, and then I want to go over the top and have it leafed in 24 karat gold, just to see, right? Like I've already spent this much time and effort, like coaching up the artist to create this thing that I had in my mind of how it's supposed to look and how it needs to look in order to be legit. So like we've already spent this much time in this trial and error. Like now I'm going to take this much extra time to create a frame, which is just as much of a work of art as the actual painting itself. So the two will play off each other and contrast one another and foil against each other and have this like weird dynamic interplay where like the reflection of the gold off the painting itself is creating this like vibrant look, and then later in the afternoon when the sun is setting low and it has that like softer glow to it, now your painting looks a lot more warm and it looks like, I don't know, it does funny things in natural light, man. It's a phenomenal thing. So when I had it done, so that's what actually I do. That's the part that I do. I'm sitting downstairs in my basement right now, which is my gold leaf studio, and there is a shit ton of gold around here, man. Like I'm starting to sneeze a lot. I think because there's so much gold, just like literally just all over the place. It's insane. But so that's what I started to do. I started to gold leaf it, and then I put the painting in the frame that I had gold leafed, and I knew immediately that this was something that could be marketed. So I shared it with the community on Discord, and people were like, "Dude, solid print, man. Looks awesome. So cool. Like, who did you use? Like, what
Lit,
surface
bro.
are you using?" Right. And I'm like, "This is hand painted," and they were like, "Shut the fuck up." And I'm like, "Nah, man, we created this, and also that's gold." And they were like, gold?" I'm like, "Yeah, gold, like what those guys were digging up in California in 1849, like the legit gold." So like from that point, people were like, "This is ridiculous. Like that's not right. Like you can't make it look that good." And I mean, I feel okay bragging about it because again, I didn't paint it. I'm giving praise to the artist right now, and she has done a phenomenal job. And I know that I've like aggravated the shit out of her by nitpicking and saying, "Hey, redo this. Hey, this ain't right. Hey, like make the head smaller or do like whatever." So like we've really had to go through the ringer and trying to like create and cultivate this exact specific thing to look an exact certain way. Now that we have, now like I think that it's a very good product, but because of the fact that it is unnecessarily over the top, that it is unnecessarily time consuming, that it has an obscene amount of gold inlaid into the actual frame, it is a premium product. And we all know that Cardano is the chain of the brokies. So so there's a lot of people that are like, "I ain't spending that kind of money on that." But at the same time, I have so many orders right now that I've actually had to pause new orders in order to like finish the backlog. So there are a significant amount of people that appreciate art on this chain. And like people will say that, but they won't mean it. But I know for a fact that there are people out there who love their NFTs so much. And it's not just apes. Like we don't do just apes, although like that was the initial like catalyst for it. Like we do all kinds of different NFTs, not just Cardano ones too. Like we do a fair amount of Ethereum ones as well. So we've had a lot of success with apes initially because I just happen to be more involved in that project, and I'm more well known in that project, and so people see me more there. But we've done a significant amount elsewhere. We've done Space Buds, we've done Little Sappies, we've done Sappy Seals, we've done Crocs Club, Asung's got one, we've done a whole bunch of different ones. We've done Apocalyptic Apes on Ethereum. We've done who else? Mallard Order. So we've done a lot of different communities, and I try to reference them as much as possible, because even though like their art might not be so well represented with the oil and canvas style, when you see it in person, you will understand that it is something so like phenomenal. It doesn't matter that like that particular art style might not match up with that particular medium. It doesn't matter, because it is just so intricate and so, like I said, so tactile, so sensory. Like it gets you going on a whole other level that I don't think you can really appreciate looking at a two-dimensional screen. Like you just can't.
Yeah, that's to be honest, I love art based like exactly the way you explain it. I've been to like multiple museums around the world. I've been to the National Museum in London, a couple like the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, and it really is like that when you're in person and you see the paintings that these super famous people painted. It's like super like there's like depth to them and everything. It's insane, and you're like, wow, this person like sat there and like caked paint on for like hours and hours and like created this scene, and it's immaculate. It's truly immaculate when you see in person. I've seen paintings that literally look like they're so detailed that they look like a real life picture, like a full. I've seen one, I think it's in London. It's a full horse, like bigger. It's like maybe a little bit bigger than real life size, and it looks real, like you're standing next to it, and it's a painting, like hand painting. Paintings are on a different level, really. If you really go check them out in a museum, you'll understand. I honestly got so excited about this. It was funny earlier. I went on your guys' YouTube and I was just looking at them, and I'm like, wow, I really would just want one of these for my house. Just the detail in these are just amazing. So
Yeah,
props
man.
to you guys for what you do, to be honest, because I really respect it. I'm like, damn, this is amazing. I want to see this like hung up at someone's house.
Yeah, and that's what I've done in my own personal office. Like I've got my own personal collection of these things because I like them so much. But they really do kind of add to that like luxury brand, that country club brand that the Ape Society was trying to cultivate early on. And I think that it can be a massive like flex to anybody's home office, to anybody's like man cave, whatever. Like it's definitely elegant and refined, but at the same time, I think that it works anywhere. Like you don't have to have like, you know, a book-filled library with mahogany-bound book. You know what I mean? Like it can literally work like, you know, just in your man cave. You know, you got your 75-inch screen TV down there. You know, you're just chilling with some foosball, and now up on the wall, you got, you know, your Degods painted on canvas or whatever. Like it could be like it just works, man. And I think a lot of people appreciate that. It's like if you guys remember that movie. I don't know if it was Old School or what, but I think it might have been Old School. They had they had done a picture of the Godfather, like in a painting at the very end of the movie, and Will Ferrell is sitting there trying to like tell his new pledges, like how to get it to hang over the mantle just right, and it's like a legit like refined looking painting, you know, in this really ornate looking frame, and you're like, that's a nice painting, but like it's in a frat house, you know what I mean? Like so art works. It just depends on like your personality. I think like if your personality 100%. Like exudes like an appreciation for it, then it'll fit wherever like you call home. It'll fit wherever like you call your space.
100%, because you just appreciate it for what it is. You don't think about the surroundings. You think about the item and
correct
the thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep, I'm with you, dude.
Man, so we're coming up here on the hour. It's obvious that we're gonna have to have you back, Carver, for sure. There's some things that I want to say. This has been fantastic. We've enjoyed this so much. I feel like we could go on for so much longer because I love it. I mean, like, I love art. I think that what you're doing is super special. I think that, I mean, Ape Society is a really interesting and special group on Cardano. Again, Bree or Zombrie or Brianna, you already know what I'm going to say. But I appreciate you so much for your time and coming on. I do want to say that I said at the beginning I'm a part of the JPEG Empire team, and I like found your wallet, so I sent you a little JPEG junkie, right? So historically, they have their history, but what JPEG Empire is doing in the future, I'm really excited about it. So we have a mint coming up in May, and it'll be for JPEG bosses. We're trying to change the narrative and make sure that that community is not left behind. I just want to put that out there, but I appreciate you so much. What are your final words? What is your like last words? What would you want everybody to take away from this? I feel like the conversation's been super good. I think philosophically, theologically, the way you describe the art, the way you describe the food, you know what I mean, man? Like, even if you're not the artist, like, you're incredibly artistic.
Man, I appreciate that. Like, and then, yeah, like for me, it was just the ability to combine all of these things, know how I wanted it to look, and find the people and surround myself with people who could make that happen and integrate it all into one single thing. So, I mean, yes, I'm more of like a director, if that makes sense. Like I don't have the talent to do the individual thing, but I have the ability to find those who can and synergize it all into one thing to create a product that has never been made before. And that's so, like, for me, that's where I find my artistic calling, I guess, is just the ability to know what I want and figure out how to make it into reality, I guess. So for me, that's like, yeah, it's like a director standpoint. But so what I would leave you guys with, and what I would leave anybody who's watching this with, is do not underestimate the power of community, and do not turn your back on fellow NFT projects, and do not shit talk each other, man. And I know that there may have been some history of that, you know, early on with a lot of different projects, but I'm just so over like the online social media
Tribalism.
right? The tribalism and the vitriol that comes out with people. And you know, I'm guilty of it as well sometimes too. But lately, I feel like I've had this like revelation where, you know, I think I used to feel like we needed to have everything in place ready to go for this bull run so that we could all cash out and drive Lambos. You know, like early on, I thought that that's what I needed to do. And as I've progressed in the space, I've come to realize, like, it's not about that. It's not about trying to figure out how to position yourself so that you can dump on everybody's head and walk away. Like, that's shit. That's a shit take. And you should be ashamed if like that's what you want to do. I'm not saying taking profits is wrong, but I'm just saying, like, understand what we are doing here, and we are creating like a new financial system that's going to change the world. And right now we're early, and so some of the only stuff we can do is NFTs and early steps in DeFi. But like, from a revolutionary standpoint, like from a social justice standpoint, from a place that's going to empower the least of these, you know, this is the right place to be, and we are doing the right things. We just got to understand that we are all faces of the same coin, you know, and we don't need to be fighting with one another. So I'm going to take that as a personal challenge myself, to try to be more inclusive and outgoing and helpful towards anybody who's out there, newcomers, you know, OGs, whoever. I'm going to do what I can do to try to be more positive in this space, and just and help it progress forward. Like, that's what I want to do.
That's
yeah, I love that. That's some great finishing words.
That's
awesome. I want to thank you also for coming on. Thank you for sharing all your insight, and I really enjoyed just listening to all the knowledge you had on just the Ape Society in general, because I didn't know too much of everything about it before, but now I feel like pretty well versed. So now I get the whole thing. When John talks to me about Ape Society, now I'm gonna understand the whole deal, and I love it. So thank you for teaching me that.
I'm really glad to have a chance to come on and talk to you guys. I've loved this. I mean, if we could do another time,
100%.
Sign me up. You guys
Yes,
are
I said at the beginning, right, that when you first came on, that we haven't been charging, but we're gonna have to start. And then so I think that we're gonna have to make sure that it's really worth it, and get Burgess that painting in his living room, man.
You got room on the wall back there, man. I think you could put it up on that slanted wall right there.
No, he's doing it in the living room. He's got to.
I mean,
right? It's got to be just right, the angle. You know what I mean? Over
I don't know. This is a thing. I would, but I have a lady in my house that
he's
likes
married,
a certain style, and I think the NFT that I would pick is a giant bud with a big turquoise background. So
so he has so wait, can you pull it up? Like, can you quickly pull that guy up? The blade.
Can I pull it up real quick?
Yeah. No, so Carver, I want you to see this. So we've been talking to some people. Oh man, is that your wife right there? John trying to decorate my house.
It is, yeah.
No buds in the living room. Oh my gosh, fantastic! Shout out to her, right? Shout out to Mrs. Burgess.
She's always like, it's so funny now. Every time I'm on my phone, she's like, "What? You talking to John again?"
Yeah.
But you guys married now?
Carver, we did a show a little bit ago with some Algo NFTs, and so there's some pretty awesome artists out there on Algorand as well. And so this one in particular, we talked to them. They're fantastic.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite NFT forever. Yeah. I'll never get rid of it ever. And I inscribed it into Algorand and priced it at something that a millionaire can buy someday.
No. Tell us how much it's priced at. If anybody wants this inscribed on Algorand, right?
Yeah, the inscribed version of this NFT is worth 420,690 Algorand.
Of course,
you can buy it here.
Who would it be?
You can buy it here. I know you're not going to, but I don't care. I want it forever.
I will say this to your girlfriend or wife or fiance or whoever's living with you. I have sent canvases to people who weren't sure if it was going to be allowed in their house or not. And when it arrived, their partners, spouses, whoever, have said, actually, this looks pretty good. And you can hang it in the living room. You can hang it in.
We're gonna go with it, and then we're gonna run with it. And we're gonna see what happens when it arrives.
What about like this though?
Ooh.
That's another one of my favorites.
That would play.
One?
I like
that. One's clean. I like that.
We just did the Order of the Kraken for Little Thunder, and nice. the fire that there was in the background of that looks a lot like the flames that you got going on here. And let me just tell you, like, when that hits the canvas and it like just does its thing with the gold on the border, it looks way the heck better than I thought it was going to look. And I can tell you, this would be an absolute freaking banger, man.
Dude, the guy that drew this would shit his pants if I posted it in the Discord and be like, bro, look what got painted.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
maybe man. Might have to bring it to life.
That's amazing. We started on Cardano, now we ended on some Algorand NFTs. I love it. We're all over the chain, you know what I'm saying?
We are. Yeah. Hey, that's another good chain.
Anyways, you, Carver.
Thank you so much, Carver. We're gonna have to wrap it up. So if you want to stay around for a sec, we'll be here still, but we're gonna put you down. We're gonna wrap up the show. But thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate chatting it up with you guys. It's been phenomenal.
Oh yeah, same to you, man.
We're both thinking the same thing, dude. That was huge.
Our fingers are always on the controls, like quick.
I know. We're just both, you know. But this was
awesome.
How
we're very organized.
What'd you think?
Dude, that was so cool. honestly, like, I think it's very cool that like you can talk to me about Ape Society a little bit more now, because I know there's been so many times where you're like talking about it and I'm just like, I don't really know everything, but now I'm like, I'm good, I like it. Also, that's some of the coolest art that I've seen, like IRL, with like blockchain in general. Love it. I seriously saw it immediately and was just like, oh my god, this is beautiful, just
Dude, I
beautiful.
was looking at some of the posts with like the letter, like they came with it, right, or whatever it was, with the wax. You know what I mean?
Bro, the
little
picture you sent
emblem,
me,
like,
I was just like, dang, I want that in my house. I want
yeah.
it. I don't even have that NFT, but I want it.
See, the problem is that is, for me, that's gonna be a bull run by. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So, Carver, we're friends now. We got you around. I will have my order in there, but it's definitely gonna be a bull run order.
I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah.
Well, you want to wrap things up? I'll wrap things up. I just want to say thank you to everyone that came out and watched the show tonight.
Thank you.
Remember to give Carver a follow on Twitter. If you're on
And
YouTube, I think we got all the links for all of our Twitters. Me, John, Carver. Check out Ascent Rivals. Check out Whimsy.
Yes. Tokenized real estate.
I added Whimsy's Twitter to the YouTube. So go on our YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe our video, and also check out Whimsy, because if you like money, that
and
might
RWAs.
and RWAs, boom, smash
Not
them together.
financial advice, but
Not
we're
financial
both in
advice.
RWAs, and that's
We're
a
very
great
bullish.
RWA
We're very
platform.
bullish. Yes, sir.
Peace. Fantastic. Thank you guys.
Oh yeah.